several of our group members. And, some people don't want to be on camera. Some people are still developing courage and confidence and all of those things. And so the group calls very, very functional. Hi, good morning, everybody. Aslam, hello. Zishan, hello. Welcome, welcome, guys. Come on in, everybody. We're here, we're here. Let me fix my watch because it's saying that it's time for the live stream, which I already know. Good morning, everyone. Allison, hello, Allison. I think it's Sonu Adhikari. Wow, that's such a cool name. I gotta try it. I gotta try it. Sonu Adhikari. Hirkari. Adhik. Is it a he or a he? Hikari. Sonu Adhikari. That's a cool name. That's a cool name. Hello. Islam, I always wait. You're like, oh, no, no, you know, my friend. Thank you. You're so kind. It's good to have you here, though. Thank you so much, Mahmed. Yeah, very cool, guys. Come on in. Hamed, hello. Samani, hello. Samani, glad to see you too. Maria, I see you there also. All kinds of things going on my watch today. Shanta, hello. Good morning from Las Vegas. This is a good stretch, though. I get up here on these poles and stretch my knees from standing up on the ride here. Yeah, I'm a little disheveled today. See, I didn't even get a lot of water in my hair because I didn't want to be late today. Yeah, it's okay. We'll work it out. Hi, guys. Samane Barku, hello. Angel or Angel, very cool. Welcome, welcome. Nikki, hey, wow, what are those symbols? Equals, not equal to? That's pretty cool. Harshani, hello. Fatima, hey, Fatima, long time no see. Kevin, Kevin, thank you for sharing this. Yeah, you guys, you can share this to your moments if you want to. But this is questions and answers today. It's not because I couldn't think of a topic, but I thought that I'd like to change it up. Sometimes we're so focused on the topic, and at the end I say, "Hey, you guys have any questions?" And I find there are, or maybe they don't get to ask them. So I thought today, let's change the order. Let's do questions and answers that you guys have for me or for a native speaker or for an English teacher. I'll try. I'm not a professional English teacher, but I could try to answer some of those questions that really make you scratch your head like, I wish I could ask somebody this. It can be about life, it can be about relationships, it can be about my job, whatever you guys want. This is a time for us to get to know each other. Oh, it's Japanese, Nikki. You're so funny. I'm sorry. Uh, uh, Mrs. Streets, Amir. Mrs. Streets? I don't get it. Hi. Very cool. All right, guys. It's Japanese. You're so funny. All right, Nikki. Now we have to talk. Nikki, raise your hand. That's funny. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. I want to know what those mean now. Yeah. Oh, you did. What? That just happened. Come on up, Nikki. This is a very casual day today. And thank you for your camera. Thank you for the camera. That's so funny. Very cool. What does it mean in Japanese?
It means Nikki is a name.
Oh, oh, okay. Very cool. Can you see what I was seeing though, right? I was like,
Equal
wait,
or not
is that
equal?
because yeah, because I'm removed, I'm several I can't be cool anymore. I'm removed from generations of slang and emoji use. Like someone tells me to change my emojis because I use the same one all the time, and I'm like, that's too much work for me. I'm just happy I picked the right one. Because I picked a regular smiley face and people said that's a fake smile. And then I had to do the blushing smiley face because they told me that was a real. So I started using that consistently, and now I'm told I have to change emojis more often. So I can't keep up. I'm going to use the old guy card on this one. But I really thought you had some really cool thing that it was expressing about you, and it's even cooler. It's Japanese for your name.
Yeah, because I was learning Japanese, so I'm here for actually looking for Japanese language partner and English language partner. So I thought maybe it would be better if I write my Japanese name right after the English name.
I see people doing that. That's really committed because when I see people with Chinese names, I don't know if I should learn it, or I don't want to spend a lot of time learning things at this phase that are not redeemable. So to me, it would be cool to be able to read Chinese, but I think of the hours it would take me, and I think I'd rather be doing other things with that time. Is that weird or selfish, or what is that?
No, no, no. I think everybody has a choice to decide where you put your energy and time on, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter because for me myself, I just like learning language, and Japanese is the language I've been wanting to learn since I was in primary school. So,
Yeah, I know one of the things that's the same with me with Spanish is I've learned it because I've known so many Spanish people in my life, and so I feel obligated to cross over. Like I know it not from books but from conversation. So
oh,
one way or another, I have to submerge myself in it so I think in Spanish before I die. That's on my list before I die, and we don't know when that is. So I better maybe I should start today.
live like today's
Because
the
in
last day.
well, and that's actually, when I was young, I didn't make decisions based on what I saw and what I thought. But when I was young in the military, eventually I got into medical in the military, and so you see phases of life. You see people that are aware that they're dying, and I've said this to people before. I saw powerful military leaders and young people, old people, yada yada yada. I've seen all walks, go to that place where they know that they're dying. They have a
Mm,
heads up, and and everything changes at that moment, right? It all scales down. They things that used to matter don't matter anymore.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so
Yeah.
what the common thread I saw, because I can see patterns, it's not some mysterious thing. I just noticed that I my brain tracks patterns, people's patterns, stuff like that. It helps me to know when they're doing okay or not now. But I would see that and I'm like, they didn't really care about their stuff or their wealth or their possessions or their trips or their degrees or
Mm,
whatever. They just cared about the relationships they did make and they regretted the ones they didn't make. That's kind of how I could sum it up because I've seen people die alone because their kids didn't want to be there.
oh,
They were doing their own thing, and that's so sad. And then I've seen people, that their family circles around them for the wrong reason, just because it's a moment. And I've seen genuine family support and times of sharing where you could share these stories and things with them, or, those are real gleaning moments. If someone's on long-term
mm,
hospice or something, my mom learned a lot from her mom that she never knew because of those dynamics. So it really started a calibration process. And when I finally blew out all my extra energy, so to speak, I finally settled down. I was like, man, this is what's really important at the end of it all, whether that's today or next week or next year or next whatever. Um, you're going to think about how you redeemed your time. How did you exchange it? And so now that I'm over the hump, whatever that hump is, right? I'm clearly over midlife. I don't know, even if I live to 100, I'm past that halfway point now. um, I start to think, is that going to be effective? Is it going to be useful? Is it going to be a real good tool? Or nowadays you have translators, you have apps that can build that bridge. So anyway,
actually,
that's where I'm at.
speaking of that translator, because I talk to my baseball team every day, so I was learning Japanese, and a guy came to me, tried to start a conversation, and I said, "I'm sorry, I'm learning Japanese. I don't have time for you right now." And he said, he's much older than me, and he just questioned me like, "Why are you learning Japanese? We have translator, we have interpreter, we have all these convenient apps, and why are you learning another language? That's useful." I said, "No. When you are learning a new language, you have like another way to think of things, different ways of
It's true.
thinking. So that is the reason I learn the other languages. It's not only about the language itself.
A very important point. I'm glad you said that. And that makes it more tangible, more redeemable. Absolutely. Because especially I learned it more, well, Spanish same thing, but it's so much stronger with Asian culture. It's so much, well, obviously the history is a lot. I mean, I guess you could argue either point, but I feel that the expression of culture is so much stronger with Chinese people and Japanese people, that you can't just learn the language without learning the culture,
Yeah.
because you won't have the context or the ability to interact, because your culture is not just a thing on the shelf. Your culture's it's part of your everyday life.
Yeah,
Even with
exactly.
modernization, there's still a huge strong thread of culture. You guys have not thrown that to the side, which we do so quickly here. So absolutely. So at some point I'm gonna have to make a decision. Because I've know too much. Like I know so many people from China now, that I definitely want to show them the greatest respect, and I also want them to be able to express themselves without restraint. Like, so I should be uncomfortable. I should be the one trying to figure things out both ways. So yeah, cool. I'm glad you said that. Now I'm convicted. Very cool. But today is just questions and answers. Honestly, I don't post these ahead of time. I'm not that structured. Clearly not a professional teacher. I couldn't be that structured. I'd like to be led by passion and inspiration. And sometimes I frankly just run out of time. It's time to go to bed, and it's like, let me get 5 hours quick. And then, so I look at emojis on that app, that Bitmoji app. I think about recent events or questions you guys have asked, where the community's going, and then something will pop up. And today it was like, they all post a link to their live stream. I don't know if I'm being protective or isolating or what, but they all post their link when they're going to live stream. So anyway, one of their titles was like questions and answers for Jeff, or I don't know his name, but I was like, you know what? Maybe we should pop that one out and see what happens. You think it's a good idea?
Personally, not
Let's
really.
go.
I don't really see it's useful.
Nice. I love it. That is great. Dude, that's awesome. That is probably the most honest answer I'm going to get all day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and it is subjective. It is subjective. You're saying for you, you're not saying, because other people have questions and answers and they try to throw them in the middle of the topic. It ends up derailing, right? I either have to make them feel like we don't have time for that, or I have to entertain that, and then other people in the chat, when it becomes hundreds of people, it's different. They feel like, can we get back on topic? That's why I came
Mm-mm.
here. And you're like, so it's hard. It's hard with the
It
whole
is.
span of community. But tell me some more. What would be useful for you? Because I want to know what you would find useful for your agenda.
I think
She's
I
like a
am
topic.
not sure because the I all the live stream I attended, it seems like people just want to have a chat. It's not
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because
I've seen
I've
those.
seen some live streamers. They are doing like an very formal English lessons with all those well prepared PPT, but
I know
nobody
those too.
really
Yeah.
like learning anything. Because I saw those chat
Right,
and
right.
they're yeah,
There's no
there's no
takeaways.
takeaway and they're
Hmm.
just chatting something everything not related. I mean, just don't waste off your time.
So, and I'm in agreement with you. I because I see lifetime as redeemable. It's not, you don't waste it. Obviously, people could all agree. Don't waste time. But I don't even want to use time. I want to redeem it, exchange it like a coupon, something that's of hardly any value. And during the exchange process, the
Mm,
value
mm,
comes upon it. So the reason I can say questions and answers with confidence is, number one, we have an awesome community. Number two, these only serve as a catalyst. See, all of our lives are connecting because we're choosing to spend
mm,
this
mm,
time together. And I feel the burden of that responsibility. I don't want to waste anyone else's time. But in the attempt to appeal to everyone, that's not logical. That's not possible. So what do I do? Well, I have to create a catalyst, something that will solicit a response or give place, an atmosphere where people can feel safe and feel comfortable saying, I've always wondered about this. And then boom, that becomes the topic, right? You can run with it. It develops so quickly and so deeply. So that's kind of what I was trying to do. It wasn't so much frivolous chitter chatter like, oh hey, where'd you get your hair done, yada yada, because I would fall asleep myself. It'd be like, um and I don't think that happens because so I'm trying to, when I think, I don't think in my head, I think in words or written word. That's how I process thoughts. And that's annoying for some people because they think I'm repeating something that they already got the first time. They're like, I get it, I get it. What are you doing? I'm like, no, no, I'm rethinking that. So in this process, oftentimes people learn in my process of articulation or speaking things. So that's kind of what I was going for, not so much. Yeah, I've gone in those other rooms to get ideas, and I've been like,
Ah, there you go.
because it does seem wasteful, or they try to entertain, or they make it about themselves, which I see their numbers go up and down, and I'm not a numbers guy. I just if I could take care of 5 people really well, that'd be awesome. But the numbers are there, so what do? You got to do something to help with the numbers. And so to me, people keep saying it's helpful, so we keep doing it. Yeah.
You could actually check Alvin's live stream.
Al-
Alin.
Alvin?
Yeah, he's from Malaysia. He always prepares some like really good and big questions for people to talk about.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Absolutely. And I'll even do a Google search and say good topics of discussion,
yeah.
and I'll pull up a lot of stuff. Um, my thing is and I probably will because you'd said it, and I appreciate your endorsement on something like that. Um, but what I do is uh, if I spend more time preparing, it's less time with you guys. So oftentimes even when I do my podcast, there's zero preparation, right? I just start recording and minimum editing. I don't take out what I'm saying. I just add spaces because of people's attention. Very little because I like it. It's better raw. It's uncut. If I had to do 3 takes, it would be insincere, right? So for me, I just shoot it and let the chips fall,
Yeah.
as they say, and it works. I'm not promoting other people to do that. Maybe they need more preparation, but I definitely respect someone like you're mentioning, who would take the time to consider a topic and have a form of preparation that gives a direction, so that by the end you can know you have a takeaway that
Mm.
something occurred.
Having a direction or not, it sometimes depends on the audience. And I've seen a lot of screamers. They prepared very like talkative or no, it's not talkative.
Detailed
Very good
topic. Hmm.
topic, and it could detailed topic, but the audience they
It's
sometimes just
true.
don't follow that
It's
direction.
true.
They just
Well,
talk
so that's
whatever
the
they
fun
want.
part. It's like because everyone is a component here, and I love it that our community here are very much active in their participation. Sometimes they'll misunderstand the topic and they'll take it somewhere, and it becomes something richer. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
can't take any credit for this. I totally didn't plan that one. And then you'll see people thrive. You'll see the comments increase. Maybe the hearts by the side will go up, and then someone will share something like life changing. They'll feel so safe and secure that they'll open up. It's like time lapse on a flower. You can't pull a rose open. You can't do it.
Mm.
And so to me, I submit to that process. I don't know what to call it or what the formula is, except everyone in the community agreeing to be themselves at some junction, and it comes out, and you can tell for that person or for those few people, it's a very pivotal moment, like they've let go of something they've held on to for years. It's like watching a birth. You're like, you
Nice.
can't even if you see a film of it, it's not the same. When you're there and this happens, that person has changed their trajectory in their life. Something has happened. They let go of a weight, or they embraced a truth, and so I I almost throw this caution into the wind, is another expression for whoever's writing down expressions right now. Throwing caution into the wind, um, because I've seen this happen, and I don't have the formula. I am not the creator of this, and I really have a hard time taking credit for it. It's more of a synergistic dynamic between, like you said, input from people and people feeling safe, or people feeling desperate and bold and just putting it out there. So, yeah, there's some chatter in between, but I don't think it's ever consumed our live stream. I think it's I'm a participant just as much as anyone else. I'm like, let's go. So when like, mhm.
I mean, for those audiences like me, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to like practice your oral English or share your ideas or thoughts with the others, whoever in this room, I mean, there is a psychological safety there already built up. And the psychological you mentioned to build up with is about the other audiences who's not raising their hands or
Well, I can see it in the chat. So like I said earlier, I don't where'd you go? Oh, there you go. I don't know how I don't know how it happens. So I've always tracked patterns. Like I finally saw it when I started reading psychological books. Yalom, I like Irvin Yalom, is Theory and Practice of Group Psychotherapy, and he has other books because I like his approach. It's very vulnerable, and it's where a counselor is not driving
um,
the group is driving the group. So through group, topics and discussion, the group reveals things about themselves as individuals, and then you see the pulse of where the group's going as far as issues, and then they can be addressed on one-on-one. So it's a combination of group therapy dynamics and one-on-one, and it's a beautiful process. I've witnessed it, and so I really like listening to Yalom, and then through Dr. Amen, like Amen, Amen. I believe he's double psychology degree in adults and pediatric,
well,
and he got into studying um, concussions from football players, um, and he would do brain scans instead of just treating with medicine. He got a little deeper, and he revealed a lot of chemical and physiological imbalances that do not require immediate or even long-term medication. It's just about awareness, and you
mm,
can see the activity or inactivity in the brain based on trauma, based on addiction, based on all these things. So um, and so Dr. Amen, Dr. Yalom are the only two that I ever endorsed because they're the only ones I've read. There's probably many other people, but that opened me up to my own processes, my own cognitive distortions in my brain, and then what I do, because tracking patterns can be frustrating. Why do I feel differently about this person
mm,
today? It's not some, and I have empathetic response. So I can sense when I was in the hospital people's emotional or symptomatics. I can feel their
oh,
symptoms. If they had a really bad sore throat, I'd feel a small one. I wasn't catching it. I never got sick.
what what do you call it?
Uh, Empathy
Empathy?
is different than sympathy. Yeah, sympathy is intellectually I can comprehend somewhat of what you're going through, right? Like someone loses both parents in a traumatic accident, you could say, "Man, I understand. I'm here for you." You don't understand. It didn't happen to you, right? And so, yeah, yeah.
Exactly,
But
yes.
empathy is like you start to feel sorrow, like your sensation,
Uh,
and you're responding to their chemical transaction that's going on because your brain releases a chemical.
physically.
Yeah, yeah, physically. I can feel it. Now, and that
Mm.
doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't consume you, but you can become very aware, more aware than an intellectual comprehension. You can become
But
systematically.
isn't it super tiring if you feel the same way with everybody?
If you didn't recognize it, you could feel that you were captive to this
Overwhelmed.
sensation.
Mm.
Yeah, or you could pursue it. You could think it's your own feelings, and you could go down that route. So guys, I don't know how to explain it. It's not supernatural. It's just being in tune with, it's being in tune with what you're able to do. So I perceive that it's, how animals can smell fear. They say
Mm.
animal
Yeah,
because 10,000 times more powerful scent, right? They can pick up stuff.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but they can smell that chemical change. When you're afraid, your brain releases a chemical that goes through every cell in your
Mm.
body instantly. When
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
happy, have you ever been so happy you couldn't stop laughing? Because every cell in your body was like elated, right? And so these are
Yeah.
real chemical releases that are constantly going on, and I I think I haven't read about it, but I think I just have a sensor that picks that up. So my body simulates what's going on adjacent or near me, right? And so I've learned to rely on that, and I can. It's been very useful in counsel. It's been useful in supporting people or understanding why they're doing things that can be disruptive or problematic in group settings. You can relate that they just have a different perspective or a different thing going on,
Which
and
is
you can get to
really,
it.
really, really important because nowadays people just stop caring. They don't want to spend more time on understanding. They listen for answering. They don't listen for understand.
I agree with you, And there's I have different proposals of why that is, but not so much important why it is that we fight against it, because human beings are amazing, just endlessly amazing at what we're equipped to do and how we're able to care and interact with each other. And somewhere through multiple decisions, we're giving that up. And so generations now are not sensitive to one another. They think it should be handled with some text and an emoji. And that is more than just superficial. That's horrible. That's horrible. And so there's a lot of disconnect, there's a lot of misunderstandings, there's a lack of intimacy even in friendships. There's confusion, and people default to playing roles. They play these roles that they see on TV, or they pursue feelings. I want to feel
Yeah.
good, so this and that. They get into quick relationships because it makes them feel good, or they only like the beginning part of a relationship because it's so
Yeah.
new. So they cycle through people, and then what happens? You have a lot of people that feel recycled and cast aside. Then you have that dynamic of depression and lack of purpose and value. So you either
It's
give
like a
up.
loop.
It's a huge destructive loop. So you either give up completely and pull yourself out of life, or you become wild and crazy because you want to feel alive. So you do high risk activities, or of course you take on drugs or alcohol or other things that make you feel your perspectives better. So all of those things are incredibly toxic, and such a waste because people are amazing, amazing, infinitely amazing.
Yeah.
So, um, as fascinating as the discussion is of maybe causes, I just work on countering it. Um, and I get that here. I mean, I'd love to hang out with all you guys in person. Serious statement, real talk, not in a stadium, not in a convention center, and that freaks me out because that would be a lack of intimacy, and that would only promote inappropriate perspective of who I am
Yeah. Yeah.
and who you guys are.
Yeah.
But I don't know the tangibility. So I have more of a compulsion every day to have to meet with somebody from the group, appropriately. I need them to gauge it right. And people ask me about my status of single, married, all that stuff. Not even a factor. Not even in the component. Don't even put that in there, because I'm not going to go there and other people, because we're missing it, guys. It is not about this ultimate connection. That's a miss. It's about connecting as people and
Yeah.
utilizing each other's abilities to enhance our life experience in a very real way, and then you can see clearly with who your potential partner should be.
Exactly.
It's not
Yes.
even about it's not even about that. And so anyway, thus is my life and career. Can I bring up Zonki with us? Have you ever met Zonki?
Not really. Please.
Oh, I think you guys would really. Oh, and she's still here. That's great, because she stays very efficient with
Hi.
her time as well.
Give.
Zonki,
Uh,
what's up?
I'm actually.
Hi,
Hi.
Zonki.
Hello.
So, Zonki, this is Nikki, and that says her name in Japanese. It's
Hi.
not a mathematical equation.
I guess she's right.
Zonki, she's in Tibet. She's Tibetan. She's like
Oh,
super cool
I am
Tibetan woman.
Tibetan.
Yeah.
I was wondering where
And
you
so,
are, and because it's still very like light,
yeah.
and I just checked your profile out. It's Tibet. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm in Shanghai
yeah,
province now.
go ahead,
Because of the
Zonki.
pandemics, we are under lockdown, so I am
Oh,
actually in a small bungalow. It's actually big.
It's
uh,
a big bungalow. Yeah. Oh, that explains it. So that's not your home?
yeah, it's my home.
It
Yeah.
is your home. She said she's anyway, I don't mean to pry, Zonki. I'm so glad to have you. But when I see things in the background at her house, I'm like, are you in a lodge? Are you in I'm like, where the heck are you, Zonki? And she's like, oh, it's my home. And so I wanted to bring Zunki here because number one, she was patient. She was the other one in the queue when I invited Nikki up. And also, when I get to know you guys, I think it would be really cool to have you both on stage. And have you been following what we're saying, Zunki, in audio?
Mm,
Ish. She's like sorta,
yeah.
kinda, not really.
Uh, it's like the other day when I was on your live and I heard somebody saying like next time, please come up with 5 questions, and we will discuss
Oh,
voice room or whatever. So maybe yeah, and in this live. So I mean, I sent all those 5 questions to your as a private message. But anyway, my first question is like, this is not only for Jonathan, but for everybody, everyone in our community. My first question is like, have you ever considered to be single forever, like non-marriage doctrine?
I do.
wow. No, I do is a marriage. That's a marriage statement. So you can't say that at the end of being single. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
sorry.
Yeah. Oh, really?
One.
And she raised her hand. She was ready to swear to it right now.
Jonathan totally does, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
she, yeah, Nikki's on board. Okay, that's cool. Wow. Okay, there's 5 questions. So I propose that we put them out there, Zunki, so that the community can hear them, and then we're gonna get a flurry of interaction. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be like riding a wave in Hawaii. So, have you ever considered being single forever, like committing yourself to that mode? Was the first question, and I really like your perspective today. So cool, showing flowers, sky, all that. Okay, next question.
So I'm sorry. Can I have the reason behind why Nikki,
Uh,
wants to be a single?
uh,
I don't know
it's
what
a
is the English word. Mhm.
long story, but let me cut it short. I was married and I was divorced, and after like 6 months or seven, I just discovered maybe spending time and doing whatever I really want and whatever pleased myself. That's the one of the most important thing in my
Mhm.
life. I don't really want to like spend extra energy
Mhm.
on pleasing the others. That
Mhm.
doesn't make sense. So after getting
Mhm.
single again, I think now is the one of the best times in my life. So I really
Mhm.
enjoy that. I don't really need another partner right
Wow.
now.
Right now, I love the right now
Mhm.
tag because I've been single for 20 years since I had 2 failed marriages.
Wow.
And that wasn't the plan, guys. That wasn't the plan. But when I was in my 20s, I tried to put it together. I said earlier on our audio call, I got the cart ahead of the horse. I tried to put together the marriage because you're supposed to get married and then have a baby, and then life is happily ever after. So I had it all wrong. And the first one failed because of her interests in going back to her old life, and it just wasn't working out the way I thought it was supposed to. So I had to do an extreme reset. And then I started doing just like Nikki's saying, and I'm in agreement with that. Everyone needs to find out their own purpose and value and understand what's going on because you got to pop that bubble because we're all living roles. Now, understandably so, we're living roles as you grow up because it's so confusing, right? Going through puberty, going through a young adult life, there's so many things thrown at you, so many expectations. You're spinning around and around. And finally, sometime you got to get
Mhm.
settled and like, okay, what is this really all about? Who am I doing this for? And it's easy to go from doing things for your parents to doing things for your spouse because you're used to that. But absolutely having a time where you figure out what is my life about? What are going to be my values? What is my importance? What am I going to invest my time?
Purposes.
So if I were able to answer that, I would say that my 20, I think it's 20 years, 18 years, I knew for me dating was not effective except to become better at dating. Dating is about putting on a fake front, a fun personality, and buying everything for the woman. That's my perspective. And that's okay. It's a great experience, but I never saw it as a proving ground to get to know the other person. I saw it as little fakeness. And so I cut all that off with my second failed marriage, and because I had dated in between marriages, and I'm like, man, what is this about? Who am I about? And how can I help people? And how can so through that discovery, here we are today. So I'm not against it because I think about myself too much, and as with the community, thinking about other people before myself actually solicits a response, and now I have other people considering me and caring for me and being considerate about me, and it becomes a wonderful process. You don't depend on it, you just help other people because it's the right thing. And I won't call it karma or other terms, I'll just say it as I'm saying it. But there's a really important thing that we do actually need each other, but it's an interdependency, not a dependency. Does that
Hmm.
make sense? So like side by side, not leaning on each other. Because I'm with Nikki, I leaned on people and processes, and it fell, and then I was destroyed. And then I built up, and then I leaned, and I fell, and I'm like, okay, we're not going for three strikes because I'm not out of this. Hold on, I'm gonna take a timeout. So anyway, good question, good answers.
So, can I share my perspectives on it?
P- Please, I just said it's all about other people, and then I just ate up all the time. Sorry, Zunki.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
what is
fine.
your answer to that
Well,
question?
the reason why I want to ask this question to people in our community is like recently I have this idea to be single forever. I don't have the right English word. Um, and
Celibate.
celibate, right? I want to
Hmm.
be celibate. This idea pumped in my mind over and over again. Why? Because, well, firstly, I actually had a long conversation with Jonathan, and I've been planning to study abroad because currently I'm
Oh
working
yeah.
as an English language teacher, and I have the plan to study to do my master in America. But at the same time, I have a very loving and boyfriend. We were, we dated when we were in college, and he's actually doing his PhD now. And but what is really interesting is like we have fundamentally different plans or ideas on marriage. He's the sort of guy who wants to, get married soon and have happy family and have kids. But as you can tell, now I'm not that really young. I have many more possibilities in my life. Um, yeah, that's then that the problem led to the question. Like I feel like maybe you know I can be single forever. If like, mhm, mhm,
Um,
Well, so I want to say that, and we can just spend time on this question, Zunki. I didn't mean to fast track it because it's really important. A lot of people feel that I was talking with Nikki about this. Um, is people feel that there's a junction or a requirement of attraction to people in a romantic way at a certain point, or in the back of their mind they're thinking those things instead of just being a friend. And so we've got a lot of things wrong. And so to want to take a time out or disconnect that option, put a bumper sticker on your car or wear a necklace that says unavailable, period, is an understandable response when many people take it to that place just because you've known them a while or you've had dinner twice or they just don't
mhm,
like to be alone. So those are not reasons to get together, is I don't like being alone or I'm supposed to or my parents require it or I have to have kids. All of those motivations make you feel imprisoned and not in control of your life. So it makes sense that people would say, I want out. I want out of all that because that's not who I am. And to spend quality time on yourself is also very important. So I think in a healthy relationship, when you're talking about these things, people can also agree to it that we need our solitude, we need to have our own interests and hobbies. Everything doesn't have to be merged or surrendered to the process of marriage, to the process of doing life by somebody else's definition. I'm in full support of that. But I don't make any permanent statements because I know that tomorrow's not promised. I may not wake up tomorrow. So I try to redeem today. And I feels like sometimes I'm stealing experiences from you guys because at my level, this has been a celibacy thing for 20 years. It wasn't by decree. That would have been a terminal sentence if I would have said that when I started this thing. But I'm talking clarity of mind. I see people with a newfound respect that I want to defend and I want to promote because I don't have those connections immediately trying to take place. And I know it's confusing for other people. I don't think you have to go through what I've gone through to have this perspective. I just think it's a matter of if you were if with your boyfriend, um, because you guys are endeared to each other. You've invested some time together. And I think if I were endeared to somebody because I really just think they're so cool and I've spent time with them, and they said, "Look, I have a problem. You sound like you have this definition of life and I have a different one and I care about you, but I can see this is going to be a big challenge for us because this is significant." If you're on a ship or a plane and you're off just a few degrees, you're not going to arrive at the same destination, right? The trajectory is going to take you farther apart. And so if you're on the course of life together, it is of paramount importance that you break this stuff down. I mean, shut off the phones, take time away in that beautiful setting you have there with just flowers in the sky early in the day. Bring something in case you're hungry or thirsty and say, we need to approach these subjects in a very serious manner because I'm actually considering celibacy for life, which would be a bomb if you weren't talking about it with the other person. And so, if that person cares about you and you're not just part of their formula, they're going to go, you know what? I hear what you're saying, and I hear your conviction about what you're saying. And let's talk about this and see if we can get the root of why you're saying it. And maybe because I care about you, I'll put aside all my definitions right now. Let's just redefine this as a couple. What do you want out of life? Always wanted kids because my parents always said we should have kids, but I really care about you, and I want you in my life. So let's talk about what this means. You got to break it down because I think spending life with someone magnifies the living process if they're not controlling and defining who you are. You should be able to, right? So there's a lot of truth inside of all of what we're saying, and I don't think a conclusive position is the answer. I think more communication because 10, 20 years from now, if you're with someone you've spent that time with that respected your position, you guys are going to have amazing memories and be like, we've been doing life together. I know you better than I know anyone, and you know me. And then, of course, when we get into older age where things start to fail us, you don't want someone to feel burdened caring for you. You want them to be like, man, I love you so much and I want to be whatever you need me to be right now. You are not alone. You are not going through these challenges in life alone, right? So there needs to be some investment in that by sharing your youth together. And you are young. Quit playing, Toki. You're so young. That's not a question on the table. You're totally young. So, but these are great. You have awesome questions. When I look at them like this, um, I think it's amazing that you have these questions. I think it's an awesome catalyst. We should totally be talking about this. And Nikki, her hand went up so quick because Nikki, that's what put me on this path is because one marriage failed. She left with my daughter to go with her ex-boyfriend from high school. That wasn't in the book anywhere. I read the back of the book and everything. That was not in the cards. So the second wife, I was just a horrible person to as far as lack of commitment. And so once I had those two failures on both spectrums, I did the pause, but the pause shouldn't last 20 years. But I can totally, we're like, whoosh, whoosh, here, like, okay, time out. I'm not hurting anyone else. I need to figure some things out.
From my
So
perspective,
anyway,
if you want to really find yourself a very good, like high quality partner, first of all, you need to really understand yourself. And once you have that, you have someone like what? I'm sorry, I forgot. Tazo? I'm sorry. Oh, Zoki. Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
Zonky,
Zoki. Well,
Zonky,
it is. And
cool
once
name. It's a cool
you
name.
have
Yeah.
someone like Zoki does, for me, I'm not judging. I'm just sharing my personal experience or personal opinions. I want to find someone who's like a partner, a life partner with me. So you gotta have the same goals, say at least same direction. Otherwise, life could be very like tiring and difficult.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. So for me, like
Absolutely,
the
guys.
real problem
Good
is like
stuff.
we
Good
actually,
stuff.
I can say we actually share same goals because like he's doing his PhD in America now, but he's coming back this year. He went last year as an exchange student to Harvard University, right? But the problem is like he's older than me, kind of like 4 years, I think. I can understand that he's a little hasty about getting married, right? Because since he's the only child and only boy in his
Mm,
family,
mm.
and then for me, I'm still young, and I think like before getting married, I can do my master in education in a foreign country, and then come back to get married and then have a kids, then continue my study, right? But what I'm really like I'm afraid is that if I stop like pursuing my dream at this moment, at this phase, then we'll get married and then I have a kids, then I know myself well. I'm not that tough girl who like can handle two things simultaneously and have a family and then do my master in a foreign country. I don't think I'm that type of girl. So now like I'm kind of like in a dilemma, right? I want to like I want to have both, right? My future and my boyfriend.
Have your cake, have your cake and eat it too. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I can talk as an old guy, um, big life perspective, right? A few generations. I know there's always a wave of, oh, you're not old, because people who are younger are afraid of that word. But I'm actually, it's awesome. I'm embracing it. I'm finally feel normal because I've always had this perspective my whole life, and now I can throw some numbers behind it. But life, it totally has to be a co-op. I mean, to a degree we have to consider our families and what they want for us. I get it. That's respectful. To a degree we have to have our own goals and our own desires. But I will tell you this, guys, because I gave up because of my stupid decisions, and I'm a new person today. um, but I haven't had contact with my daughters for most of their lives because of who I was. Their parents took them and ran with them because of who I was and the decisions I was making back then. And I need to find them. And I agree, guys. I'm going to get a private investigator to find them and give them a letter that says I'm changed and can we have a relationship. But I want to say this: at my phase of life, what becomes of more importance to me is sharing my perspective, is helping your generation you guys are in. I so want you guys to take a baton instead of inventing a wheel, right? Because there's a lot of things that have been proven or established, and some things you want to experience for yourself, absolutely. But some things you don't have to. You can learn, and so I want to see. I have, because of what I forfeited, right? It's kind of a replacement, I guess, psychologically. But I want to see you guys avoid some of these pitfalls. I want you to have a proper perspective and accomplish your things. And so that dynamic is real, and it happens as you're going later in life. And when you don't have someone to pass that to, there is a sensation like, okay, maybe I did do my own thing for 50 years, but now what, right? And so people play it off. They're like, oh, I don't have to worry about this expense or these troubles or this turmoil because I'm free, I don't have kids. But at the same time, they can't fool me because I'm there. And I know you long to have kids. You long to see your grandchildren. You want to see the changes that you've made break the chains of bondage and addiction and other things. Like, my family's always been in debt, and I'm not in debt. This is a brand new thing, and I want to teach that to my kids to avoid the pitfalls of debt and make good, so there's all these dynamics that come later that you guys don't have to be overly concerned about right now, but they do play a role. And so I think and I think intimacy and conversation is powerful. Right now we're talking about life things. This is no light topic. This is huge. This is pretty big. You guys are considering things for the rest of your life, and that I feel that weight, and we're having a moment. So I think these kinds of things, even if it's not your parents or your uncles, I think it's beautiful that you guys are even asking these questions and considering these things, because a lot of people go on autopilot and then they're 50 and they've got anger and resentment and they hate their partner. Like, my mom picked him. What the heck? So you guys are already at amazing because you're considering these things. And I think, as awesome as you seem, Zunki, if you have this, like, you gotta make the moment. It can't be rushed. I'm pretty sure, as this guy sounds like he really cares about you, you'll definitely demonstrate that through these conversations. I love you, but I don't like where we're being forced to go, kind of thing. So I feel like I paused for commercial. Group hug, something. No, it's cool. It's a good question. So,
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I feel
It does
I
make me
feel
think.
really better now. Like hearing your analysis and your suggestions.
well, yeah, it's all conversation, guys. We're throwing this. This is a cool moment, and they can happen a lot when you have different people, different perspectives. You're sharing your thoughts. Some people just keep it to themselves, and they just go through life. So, this kind of, in a basic way, this kind of thing that's happening is powerful because we don't know each other, right? We really don't know each other, but we do know that this topic is important to us, and we don't feel anything to be concerned about. And so we're all able to be freely sharing, and you can make better decisions because this is called counseling. It's not a therapeutic thing. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
let me throw this out to you guys. You ever think about just cutting this part of your life out? It's like, well, what caused you to say that? Well, so you get to the bottom of it. I think, guys, ladies, sorry, there's so many terms you can't say anymore in our country. It's crazy. Um, I, yeah, anyway, I digress. But people have gotten the cart ahead of the horse in so many aspects of relationship under the guise of freedom of choice, in regards to intimacy in relationships. They put it ahead of commitment, and it just breeds pain and disconnect, and you can't ever go back and fix that completely. And so when you talk about abstinence or being alone, people think, well, that's kind of extreme. Well, I think it's kind of extreme to throw it all out there and just do whatever you want, because there's a reason for refrain. There's a reason for a process. There's a reason that why you establish the quality of someone's commitment, because you don't want to feel abandoned. As strong as you are as a woman, or as a man, when someone leaves you after you've opened a part of your life, whether it's a physical part or an emotional part or both, um, you're going to feel the impact of that. When it happens twice or three times, you're going to feel broken. Then you're going to feel used, and you're going to feel regretful and shameful, and it starts a whole downward process. Whether you acknowledge this or not, it's a psychological reality. And so subjecting yourself to that whimsical way of life may look modern, may look like you're in control, and you want to feel good, you want to be able to do what you want, but so does a 5-year-old. They want to be locked in a care. They'll get diabetes and other things. So the same thing with our emotional whims. We need to talk about it like this so you can get a variety of input. And then if you're operating in wisdom, you're going to take the majority of counsel from diverse groups, and you're going to say, well, I still feel compulsed to do this, but I had a bunch of different people that know me, don't know me, older, younger, and the consensus is I probably shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this, right? So you are both.
Give you more opportunities.
Absolutely. And it could just be a phase. It could be a response, a knee-jerk response to being hurt or feeling empty or feeling forced. You can feel forced down a certain path and go, you know what? What does everybody think about not doing that? Chinese culture, what does everybody think about not getting married till you're 40? What do you think about that? They're like, whoa, no, who are you? You're so crazy right now. That's ridiculous. But what about people who are 29 and a half and feeling that pressure? And they're like, I'm a good person. I don't want to be jumping into a marriage because there's a clock ticking, but I don't like the conditional response of my parents acting like I'm a disappointment because I haven't done that yet. Right? There's a lot of things, guys. There's a lot of things
Mm,
going on. You guys don't live in an easy world. So it's better to talk and then make one decision at a time, staying flexible, but eventually settling on a decision, because you can't be indecisive. You'll be 60 years old and indecisive. That's not cool either. So, all right, I gotta breathe now. You guys tap into my passion, and then you have to sit there and take it. Sorry.
it's a really good question.
Yeah, Zonki did that. We'll put it on her because she's got 5 good questions, and if you guys didn't see them, I think it's time to go get your seatbelt and helmet because she's not. Zunki's out there in a beautiful field in oh well, not anymore, but I mean she's in just an environment where she's reflecting and she's coming up with these things. And thank you, Zunki, for I'm not closing anything, but thank you for bringing it up today. This could be a series.
Thank you. I really like, I really enjoy like hearing your suggestions because it's unlike young people saying just do it. If you think, just do it, and then like rinse and repeat. We are here to make mistakes. And those words are really kind and sometimes useful, but what I really want is like, yeah, just keep sober minded, right? You
It's a
actually,
good one.
tell the people in our community the essence that I want to say. Those ideas in my mind, but I don't have the right words, or I don't know how to express them out.
Well, you both have amazing minds. It's why I wanted you both on stage at the same time when I saw that you were in the queue, um, because you're thinkers. You guys are thinking, and you're flexible. You're also teachable, which is a rare combination.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes thinkers come to conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
and they stand on those. And so there's zeal. It's good to be zealous,
Mm-hmm.
but to also accept other forms of input
Mm-hmm.
is it's a powerful combination of things because you want to have a clear conscience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make this decisions have to be made. You can't postpone those.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are both at junctions of life, as all of us are,
Mm-hmm.
and you're opening up conversation. You're gaining information so you can make the best decision because
Yeah.
you have to live with that decision.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to think extreme things because maybe you never thought of them before, and you're like, "What about this? What about that?"
Yeah.
But when I see younger people, and especially, oh man, and like I told you, when I see younger women, I'll say it like this: when I see young adult women who are so self-conscious because they don't fit the mold, right? They don't fit what the world says popular or attractive or whatever, and I'm like, oh guys, don't do surgery, don't be obsessed with makeup, don't be. You are brand. If someone said I'm giving you a brand new car, you would not ask what the make and model is. They're like, you're giving me a car? What? You wouldn't ask about the features or the color or anything. You'd be like, you're giving me a car. So I tell young women, I'm like, you are a brand new car. You're brand new. Don't let any guy make you feel that you don't have this option, so you're not you know what I mean? And I know it's a really loose example,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to impact through illustration that you guys have the whole world ahead of you. You're all amazing. It doesn't matter what shape or size or features, if you've got the right nose or earlobes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're just packed full of potential. And so anyone or any group that's making you feel otherwise is worth a quick snip.
Mm-hmm.
Just cut that weight off because they are not the advisors you want around you. They're altering your perspective and making you feel you have to do something to fit in. That's never going to go away. They're never going to be happy. They, as in that influence. So you have to develop confidence in who you are and what you're issued with, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was a skinny guy. I wanted to be a big guy. I took all these supplements, worked hours in the gym to become, and I never saw it in the mirror, guys. It was like reverse anorexia. I had to buy bigger clothes. I got extreme weight in the gym as far as lifting stuff. And I was hurting my heart. I was taking things that were affecting my health because I wanted to be a big guy. I wasn't born to be a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to push outside of my frame. So I went through that whole hiatus, the timeout, and now I just started doing what's practical for my life now to defy gravity to make sure I could still be upright, and I'm very content with what's happening. So all of the things we try to do to be something else that we weren't born or made for only cause us physical, psychological harm, and you can never please those people. They're always around to tell you you should do this or that. So you are both very comfortable in your skin, which is great. And I think it's inspiring to people who are listening right now because you're both capable and accomplished, and it's like, where do we go from this? I have these questions. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, pause.
Pause. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I have a
Oh
meeting
yeah,
with my girlfriend. It was really nice talking to you guys.
Thank you so
lady.
much for your time,
Thank
Nikki.
you.
We'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, I'll
Bye,
Yeah,
have
see
a
you
再见.
next time.
conversation with you next time. Nikki,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Very cool. You guys should connect, Zonki. You
Mhm.
guys should like connect. She's got a brain like you. Very cool. Well, wow, what is that a wooden ceiling? That is so detailed,
Yeah,
Zonki. Seriously? That is amazing. Think of the craft that went into that.
thank
That is
you.
so cool. Dude. Um, so I like these details. So when I mention things about your home, it's not anything else. It's just like I work in a place I was never handy, and I work in a place where handy people go and work.
Uh,
So I become handier in skill sets. So when I see something like that, I think of all the detail that
mhm.
went into that. Did you want to do another question today, or save it for another day? Because we can bring other people up.
Yeah, I want to give this chance to other people. I can be on stage next time because everybody wants
Oh yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
be on stage.
Oh, I know,
Hmm.
but we need either how whatever you want to do is fine. I was saying we can bring somebody up in addition to you. I can bring up other people, and we can keep this going, or whatever you feel like doing is fine.
Okay, then maybe let's invite some people to join us.
That sounds great.
Mhm.
Let's bring up in Islam and Dofi.
Mhm.
Thank you. Sensitive to everybody's time because sometimes people only have a moment to come up. Hi, Dofi. Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, you
Oh,
forget me, right?
no. What's going on? No. I mean, maybe. I'm trying to be honest and considerate at the same time. So I remember it now that you said it like that, and welcome back. And I thought it was Islam answering. Islam, I was like, no, I don't remember you, Islam. I'm sorry, bro.
With you, John.
Where's Hey, how you doing, buddy? Where's Dolphy? Introduce yourself just to remind me and to help everyone to see who you
I'm an
are, where you're
English
from.
student, learn English, and sometimes I raise a really tough question to you. Can you can you yeah, can you remember?
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, but not to me, to the group. Where you from? And yeah, there's a few people here with us.
Mm,
So Dolphy, you're from
China?
where? Yeah, you're not saying it to me, buddy. I don't want to do the introduction. So you're Dolphy from China. You're a medical student, and you often raise difficult
Yeah, yeah.
questions.
No, I'm not medical student, a
Okay.
college student. I learn English. It's my major, and I
Oh,
often
college.
write down a lot of
Okay.
notes from
Okay.
your talking.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Well, you haven't been here in a
yeah.
while. In my defense, it's
Preparing
been a
for
while, right?
my yeah.
Okay.
How to say I took
Oh,
my
Dolphy, yeah.
driving license. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you took your
And
driver's
I failed
test?
3 times. I
Okay.
I failed 3 times for the
Oh, you failed it 3 times. Well, you're not supposed to drive on the sidewalk. You drive the car on
okay.
the street.
Yeah,
That's a
okay.
problem. But
Yeah.
thank you for the intro. I totally do remember you now. But let's get Islam in this. And Zunki is kind of co-hosting. She's got some really cool perspective and questions. So I wanted to get introduction from Islam and then allow Zunki to give us some input because it's really been kind of fun. So Islam, can you tell? Nice. She's so funny today. I mean, every day she just has different ways of interacting. Islam, and let that be inspiring to you guys because if you're afraid of being on camera, you can just start with a hand and a ceiling. Yeah, there's a way. There's a way to ease into it. Islam, how you doing, my friend? Where are you
Yes,
from?
fine.
And
I'm Islam. I'm from Algeria. Uh, I am student.
oh, cool. Algeria.
This is my last last year in the
Oh, wow.
university,
Hmm.
master degree. In this summer summer special staff of stuff of sweets and local.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, is that a story? It's so funny.
Yes,
I just talked about a kid in a candy shop. Oh, okay.
yes,
Well,
Huntington. Huntington. Yes, stuff of candy and sweet.
oh, okay. And you have no cavities. You
Uh,
have all your teeth. That's amazing. If I worked there, I
yes,
would lose my teeth because I would eat so much.
yes. I don't like candy.
Yeah, I'm over it
I am
now.
not the.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's you're the
Yes.
best person to be there. Is that your shop?
What?
Do you work there or is that your business?
No, no, no. I work in the summer vacation. Just in October, I will continue my study.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, so nice to meet you from Algeria. Very cool. And Zunki, I wanted to give her kind of, the host mode because I'm really inspired by the kind of questions that she gives us. So, Zunki, if you would
Okay,
please.
so one of my other questions is that please list three your strengths. I mean, seriously, not saying, you think about, think a moment and, talking as like those other community members you can type right in our comments. So list three of your strengths. Yeah.
Of your strengths.
Hmm.
Good. I'll
You can
type it here
actually
too.
say directly.
Donkey,
Oh yeah, yeah, but I'm going to type it for the chat. List
Hmm.
three of your strengths,
Hmm.
and I'll go ahead and pin it so that people
Yeah.
can see that's what we're talking about. So, give us three of your strengths, and this is a question that is often asked of people in an interview. They want to see your character. Are you going to be boastful? Of course, Zunki is not saying to be boastful. She's saying legitimately three strong points
Hmm.
about you that you want to share with us. So we'll start with Dofi. Dofi, can you give us three things that you're really
Hmm.
strong in? Three strong traits or
uh,
abilities that you have, and be keep it concise.
table tennis. I can play really, really good table tennis. I can be top state.
Okay,
Yeah, in my city. My second
that's
one,
good. That's good.
uh, I think
Good.
I like to meet people with really new ideas. So yeah, I can easily get to know some new things, even though sometimes I can't really follow
Okay.
Jonathan's words. You speak too fast today, Jonathan. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, so but you are you? Let's say what that strength is. You're an outgoing person. Is that what you're saying? Is a strength?
Kind of, but I want to know some person that with really new ideas like Zonky. Yeah,
Okay, but it's
yeah.
okay. So the one strength is you're very skilled at table tennis. The second strength is that you're
To know
outgoing,
something new.
to know something.
Yeah,
So you have a strength of wanting to know something more. Okay, okay, we'll call
yeah.
it that. And then the third one.
And the last one, I try to make me be stronger in English because I can be bilingual in this way.
So your third strength is you are diligent in learning English. That's a
Not
strength.
diligent. I think I have a lot of effort on it.
Okay,
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
diligent. Diligent. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's good. Okay, well, good. That's three strengths. And Islam, do you want to share three strengths about yourself? Three strong abilities or talents that you have.
Yes, yes. I am a good cooker. I very strong in cook. Yes, I love cook. I
Hmm.
love go to the kitchen and make in everything in my mind, and always it's delicious.
So Islam is going to get about 600 personal messages right now,
Yeah,
Oh, I think you're great. Oh, I think you're
yeah.
great. A man who cooks. Okay. The second thing,
Yes.
Islam.
Love. The thing, I am good communicating with people. I really want to. I really like to meet people and discuss with them.
Okay. A very outgoing personality. Okay, go ahead.
I,
Strength.
my strength in my personality is wait wait a minute. My hair
Oh,
just
okay. No problem.
turn off. Just one. Uh, and I am when I make a decision to do something. I really work hard to arrive
Oh, good.
to it.
That's called commitment. So you're a man of commitment, which is a huge character trait. That's awesome.
I really work hard to arrive my dreams and
That's good. Yeah, yeah. That's a
in
great answer.
yes, because
So you're skilled at
things
cooking,
in my
you're very
personality.
outgoing and engaging with other people, and you're a man of commitment. Once you make a decision, you honor that decision and you work hard to accomplish it. That's really good answer. And with all of us here, we're curious about Zunki's three strengths.
Thank you. Um, well, I think one of my first strength is actually I have verbal intelligence. Verbal intelligence. I'm articulated, especially in my mother tongue.
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah,
I can
I
imagine
can
that.
host. I can host varieties of ceremonies to be, question makers, especially in my mother tongue. I was influenced by my mom deeply because my mom is articulated as well. Okay, that's my first strength. And my
Hmm.
second strength is I think I am ambitious. Why I think I'm ambitious? Because, let's say I now have a decent job and I have like seemingly very good salary, but still I'm not satisfied with what I have now. I want to, because I deeply feel that I have like much more opportunities and I can make a huge difference in my students' life better than I do now. So I applied the top universities in America, not those below average or average universities. Yeah, of course, I at the same time I work hard. I'm not like blindly apply, but yeah, this is why I think I'm ambitious, and I think it's one of my strengths. I have ambition.
Mm.
And the
Mhm.
last one actually is a little narcissistic, but I actually don't think narcissistic because sometimes like people, especially in public, they don't say that because they kind of like afraid of being judged narcissistic. Here I am. I think I'm relatively, I mean, comparatively visually attractive. If you want to know, just check my profile and see my moments. Thank you.
Wow. But you're aware of this, and so there's nothing wrong with being aware. It's
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, no, that's good, and that's why people are often ask these questions. We want to learn more about you, and some people don't realize the like three main things about
Mhm.
themselves, and it's good to reflect and realize that. Now, obviously, we need to know our strengths because in the very superficial, callous world, um, those abilities or awareness of those abilities can help us to gain advantage, right? In the very superficial, calloused, cold world, you have to use what you have to excel, right? And so being aware that you have an appeal or an attraction is not a horrible thing. Now, go into great lengths to maintain it could be problematic depending on the situation. But just being aware. So one of the most attractive things about people is confidence in who they are and what their abilities are. That's the real attraction. It's not that a person has these lips or these kind of ears or this kind of thing. But as a woman or as a man, if you're aware that that has an ability, then you use it, right? I would say utilize it. Using is like discarding after you're done with something, but utilizing friendships, utilizing connections with people in a respectful way is not a problem, but using someone is a problem. So I have met some very attractive people who didn't have the formula that the world wants in their shape or their abilities, but their confidence was so appealing that it drew you into them. They may have had a bigger nose than usual or a different something else, but just their confidence about who they were was magnetic. And you're like, whoa, this is crazy. I mean, I don't want to marry you, but I want to be
Yeah.
around you. So
Yes.
it's kind of cool. But I like the way you phrase that so carefully. Very
So,
cool.
Jonathan, it's your turn. Three strengths you have.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you guys would rise up and turn against me. I knew it. I knew that would happen. um, well, so charismatic. I would say I'm
Mm-hmm.
charismatic, me, meaning I can infuse energy into an environment. Um, um, I think I'm approachable, which is it's a wonderful gift. Um, People instantly trust me, so that worked good in the medical field, and I really think it's a beautiful thing when people trust you with their sometimes more information than you're prepared for, right? In a lot of ways, but people need a place to open that up to sort those things out. Um, what's I think that might be three things, huh? I kind of just yeah, let's go with that. Energetic. I don't know. You guys can call me on this if they're all part of the same. And communicative. So I'm able to I don't know how, guys. I wish I could give you the formula. I can just assemble things in speech, just like I think Zunki's saying, and maybe that's part of our tie together. Even though I haven't heard you communicate in your wonderful tongue, your native language, but people often give me information, and then I can present it. Um, and so I don't prepare irresponsibly, like we talked about earlier. Even when I make the podcast or do something, I just shoot it, they would say. It just comes out. It just comes out, and it's pleasing for people. So whatever.
Yeah.
All right, that's
In
enough.
my opinion, Jonathan, you can become a person like how to say it, like a statement to make a statement to others and work for the public. I think you
Public
are
speaker.
very skilled to speak and to understand people and make sure that your idea will be spread and understand by others. It's really, really the talent,
Uh, well, I appreciate that. I like to use it. So there's a normal compulsion with gifts and abilities to think that we should take them on a bigger scale, and that's people want to have a success. They want to have obviously income or compensation for those abilities or gifts. I think the higher road is the lower road actually, because I want to be available with whatever I can do to help other people at a much smaller venue. Um, because oftentimes the help or the things that people need are unobtainable for a large group of people, either because of the money it costs or whatever. And so I think it's extremely rewarding to be with people that are grateful for whatever. I would rather be there because other
Yeah.
people can be.
I have
Does that make sense?
I have
Like you
one
can,
more
yeah.
question.
So it's kind of cool.
Today's question is a really simple one. Like, if we imagine another language, like Chinese, in my place, when they don't have tense, so I want to know the advantage within a language that have a tense. For example, let me say if I go to a store and buy 3 eggs yesterday. So grammatically it's wrong. Listen to my second sentence, you will understand why ask this question. Like if I say I go to a store to buy 3 eggs tomorrow. So both of the sentence are totally wrong grammatically, but you can understand me. So in this kind of language system, you use there is no tense there. There is no how to say it, present tense or something like that. You use present tense continuously, and you just put a time indicator at the first or middle or the end of a sentence to make sure that
Mm.
the people will understand you. So I want to know between these two different language systems, because in
Mhm.
my language we don't have tense at all.
Mhm.
So, can you use your intelligence, Jonathan, to tell me a little bit when we compare this kind of language system, what's the advantage of a language system that have tense in it?
Um, that's a great question. I know Zunki's laughing. That's why she took her camera off to ceiling. Well, so this is one of those situations, guys, where I don't know formal English structure enough to respond technically to these kinds of questions. I should have failed English in high school, and I haven't taken that many courses since. I just have an editor's eye, so I know when things should be a certain way. I don't know how. I just know when they sound right and when they should be another way. I have no explanation for that. You know, English language as a whole is very complicated and inconsistent. I don't think it's I don't think it's a compliment to say that. We have rules, and then we have so many exceptions to the rules, and we incorporate other language rules whimsically that don't make sense. And I really feel for you guys. One of the phrases that I remember from high school, and I don't know why, it's taken up data in my brain until the day I die. It might be my last words, but it's this jingle they taught us. It's I before E, except after C, or when sounding like A, as in neighbor and way, or in C's and seizure and also leisure, weird, height, forfeit, and neither. So the exceptions, even though it rhymes and it's a cute jingle, the exceptions to that rule I before E are many, many more than the actual application. It's so confusing. And that's the tip of the iceberg. So I probably intellectually could learn the rules and maybe try to explain it to you, but I'm not impressed with our structure. It has no merit as far as consistency.
My God.
It's all over the place. Yeah, it's a crazy thing. And so
You know,
my my resolve and my peace is that I know what's right and what's wrong when it comes to what you ask me, but I oftentimes don't know how to explain it
you know,
in a way that would
you
satisfy
know
you.
how difficult sometimes for us, because in our language system we don't have that kind of thing at all. Yeah, and I
Mhm.
test many English speaker. When I use
Mhm.
that sentence just that I raised to you, they change it automatically. Yeah, in their brain, they have a spontaneous mind to change it. When you speak something in the past, you will use past
The
tense.
tense, yeah. Yeah,
I
it's just automatic. Go ahead. Sorry, Zunki.
Yeah, I think Duffy's question is really meaningful, and it's interesting. Why? Because here's my reason. Um, in our language, in my mother tongue, Tibetan, we have three tenses.
Mm,
We have past, we have present, we have future. So let me send you an example.
mm,
Um, Here, so when I was, when I started learning English in a high school, I even though have difficulty remembering those different forms of a verb, but I can normally quickly, catch up with the grammatical point of different tenses. I will initially, remember, okay, I should use, eat. I should use ate. I should use I have eaten. But in our mother tongue, we don't have passive voice, right? And then, but passive voice is actually commonly used in English, right? So in our Tibetan language, we don't have passive voice. So when I was learning passive voice and active voice, though sometimes like, this sentence can be expressed by both ways, but I will initially choose active voice. I think this how my mother tongue influenced like the methods that I choose to learn another language. So Dolphy, I actually what I want to say is like I can totally understand your problem, your trouble. But
Yeah, yeah.
what can we
I
do?
think it's funny.
Yeah,
Hey guys, I
Yeah.
think it's funny. Both you and Islam are showing your ceiling. It's catching on now. It's the newest. I was
so
gonna say you're
you know,
both showing your ceiling.
yeah, the thing we can do is just, try your hard and practice again and again. Because at least now there are tenses in English, right? So so you have already solved
Most
the
of the
major
time,
problem.
yeah, most of the time when I want to describe something in the past, I use the present tense to say it. And luckily, most foreigners understand me. Yeah, it's not.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of liberty, and when you guys are speaking English, there's a lot of liberty. I mean, because so many people incorporate a lot of slang. Actually, it's very refreshing to hear people speaking English on this app because you guys are working so hard, and you're reminding me of how beautiful it can sound when you do things properly. And we've cast that aside here. We use so much slang and idioms and other things that the beauty is actually seen through new people learning it and speaking it. So we're about out of time today, guys. But I really enjoyed this time. Zunki, thank you for your contribution today. It was definitely the heart of the time together. And Nikki was cool. At first, she was worried because I just had a topic of questions and answers. And she's like, a lot of the live streams do this, and it's not productive. And I was like, oh, hang in there, sister. It's going to get pretty awesome just because I know what happens when our community members come up and start helping us. So it was a really good time. I hope everybody enjoyed it. John, sit down, please. I'm not comfortable like that. Shakar says. um, um, so tomorrow and the next day, I'm off of work. So we may start at 4, or we might start at, I mean, 4 a.m. my time, or we might start at the same time and I'll just sleep after because I like to be consistent with you guys and your schedules. But we can definitely go longer. So I ask everybody when we're together, don't feel captive. If you have something you have to do, you can actually just step off of stage too and send me a text. And I get it because sometimes the topic is so engaging. Like I feel like I talked to Zunki and Nikki and even Dofi forever. I mean, Islam's manning his shop, but every time we have people up here, I feel like I just want to hang out with you guys. Like, all right, I'm gonna call out. Give me a minute. I'm gonna call out from work because we're processing things and you guys are getting a lot out of it, and then we meet awesome people who have the ability to shape a conversation. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Islam, it's so nice to meet you, buddy. If you guys want to be in our group, I see you. If you guys want to be in our private chat group, just send me a text message directly that you want to join because our chat group will keep talking about these topics long after I close this. They'll have a group call. They'll be like, hey, what do you think about what Zunki was saying about life of celibacy and why do we want to feel that way? And they'll be on fire for hours after this live stream's over, which is great. Maybe even Zunki will go there and maybe head up a voice room. I'm just saying. Um, but it's really cool to be with you guys. Sometimes I don't want to go to work because of what's going on here, but I do have to go to work. So you guys
Yeah.
take care. Don't I remember you now. Don't be a stranger. Keep coming back
Yeah.
and stay off the sidewalks. Drive on the
I love the
street.
farmers
It's the best
community.
thing.
Thank you all.
He said, yeah.
Thank you so much,
You're
Jonathan.
very welcome. Sunki, thank you for your time and your questions. Keep them in check because we have
Okay.
3 more questions to go through. All right,
Thank you a
cool.
lot.
And Islam, thank you, my friend. Have fun. Y-
Bye bye.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we'll see you. I'm going to step everyone. Mr. Science was waiting. Mr. Science, I owe you one, buddy. I have to go. My boss is going to pull up soon, or my manager, and then I'll go inside. And today's like a Friday for me because I'm off the next 2 days in the middle of the week, which means a lot of freedom because my brother goes to work, so I got the house to myself. I do have some things to accomplish, but I hope to spend a lot of time with you guys. Hi, Dina. I see you, Dina. Oh, you just got here, sad face. I'm sorry, buddy. Islamomid, you're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. Zonki, yeah, celibacy was the topic, a vow of celibacy, but it was just something we opened up because you can feel like a certain way, but I hope I diffused a conclusive position about that. It's just, I think a partner in your life needs to know that you're considering that. Um, yeah, that can, and make time for these conversations, guys, with your partner or whomever. Like I know we're using the phones now; it's kind of funny, but um, time where you don't have anything that's going to interrupt you or distract you, because these are really important questions. And then more importantly, is why you're feeling that way. There's a strength when you're not appealing to physical needs. There is a strength you gain from it. And I think it gives you priority again. Those things aren't bad of themselves, but they need to be put in the right position. And sometimes you need a timeout. Sometimes you need a long timeout because there are layers of people. I mean, I want to say this, and it's not inappropriate at all, but if two people are able to hug in a very genuine way, like genuine, there's a transaction that takes place that helps you feel accepted, cared for, warmth, and not a long 10-minute hug. Guys, I'm just talking about real connection between people. There's something in that when we lack it, we long for it, and then sometimes we misinterpret that things have to come after that. So I'm just saying that we are all learning about real relationships here because this community is proof of cooperation and support that I don't think the world experiences a lot of. So if you guys feel that, it is not because of me. It's because of what you guys are choosing to do, to trust, to care, to dedicate time to it. And when we run into wealthy things like incredible resources like Zunki and Nikki and other people that come on here and contribute, I know they're gaining from it also. I know they're gleaning something from it as well. So that's the dynamic of real community. It's real. It's worth developing and it's worth protecting. And so these are great topics. I'm forever grateful that we had this conversation today. So guys, I'm gonna have to giddy up. I gotta go. But thank you for following me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for everyone who gave gifts. It's cool. It goes back into the community. And you guys already know what I'm gonna say. I like the heart here when you guys do the free heart. Dunia, Dunia, very cool. Nice to meet you. Neo, Snow Life. Bye for now, guys. I gotta go, but we'll take care. We'll talk to you again soon. I'm off the next 2 days.